better part of this whole decade is Aaron Rodgers. Because that bad man that everybody preach, he's a bad man. I actually think y'all was right. He's a bad man, and not in a good way. Okay, let's talk about him right now. Was this loss last night on Sunday Night Football, Aaron Rodgers' final game in general? Zay, if you want to do the honors and kick us off, go right ahead.
I don't know if those was tuned in when I had a lot to say about Aaron Rodgers during our last podcast prior. And, I had a lot to say about him, about when he had lost to the 49ers at home. I had a lot to say about this man. And, I thought that was when the rebuild should have happened. I believe this is his final game officially for the Green Bay Packers, but I feel like it should have happened last year after that horrible loss in Lambeau. I know he didn't want to leave. He didn't want to leave the football field with a sour taste in his mouth with defeat of now he can't compete at a high level still against the elite defenses of the world. But I know that last year he kind of hindered the Green Bay Packers this entire season by prolonging what was going to happen, an inevitable rebuild. He knew this team wasn't ready to win anything in the NFC. They wasn't going to win a championship. They wasn't going to go to NFC championships, playoffs, whatever. And he took the money anyway to come back to play with Lazard, Watson, Jones, and Dillon. It just seemed like a selfish move. You're not contending. You're really already 1 foot out the door. And the money talks. 150 million 3 years guaranteed. It's hard to walk away from for sure. That the money was definitely talking, but you knew he was already out. He was getting hurt left and right. He had the broken toe last season. This season he had what was it, dislocation of the finger. I forgot what it was. It was like something along that line. And it should have been the Jordan Love season. That's what it should have been. The start of the Jordan Love season, the Jordan Love era, the Love era, as the Green Bay Packers fans call it. And you could have got a lot more picks. You could have traded away Jones, got more picks, more assets to the team. You could have traded away a lot of the guys who have high contracts on the team to start an official rebuild with young guys to get the team going, to get the team ready and prepared for getting Jordan Love in that proper state of starting quarterback. Now, Rodgers talking about he's leaving. You got to find out what you're going to do with Aaron Jones. You're going to have to find out what you're going to do with Jair Alexander. And a lot of different guys on that team who have the more expensive contracts, so you could build some cap space, so you could build around Jordan Love. I think it's no secret that since Aaron Rodgers has been here, outside of the draft picks and the guys that they drafted, they haven't put much around Aaron Rodgers. They haven't went out to get free agents to put around Rodgers to succeed. Everything was drafted there. Everybody was developed in Green Bay and then eventually left. And it was never a situation where they brought in marquee free agents to help them win football games. Everyone was drafted and developed and then eventually left because of ego, or they weren't getting paid enough because the GMs don't pay much if your name is not Aaron Rodgers or the marquee guy on that team. So, I think we have seen the final days of Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, but it should have happened 365 days ago.
I just want to add some context. I'm not even going to put my take in here. I just want to add something that's very important to add, cuz so you can go up and I'll bring us home. But I think basically what sparked this speculation was at the end of the game, Jameson Williams, wide receiver for the Lions, he wanted his jersey signed, or he wanted Aaron Rodgers' jersey basically, and Aaron Rodgers was like, I'm gonna hold on to this one. So I think that fueled a lot of speculation about his future with the team and potentially playing football. Because of you up.
Yeah. It's Aaron Rodgers over the past 4 years has let down the state of Wisconsin. He has let down this football team. And I think it's getting to him mentally. And it should be his last game. And I don't think he should go to another team. I think he should just retire. Because we got to be real. We could talk about this year with him not having lack of talent. But in the previous years, he had a Super Bowl team ready to win right now. And Aaron Rodgers let them down. And I think it's weighing on him mentally to the point where he's losing confidence. He can't take a team over the hump under pressure. Last night was like a playoff game. Win or go home. Okay? They lost. Aaron Rodgers lost. Then they going home. He had home court advantage last year. I want to say the past maybe 2 out of the past 3 years, they was the number 1 seed. And he couldn't bring it home. He couldn't even take them to a Super Bowl. Think about that. Not just win the Super Bowl, he couldn't take them to a Super Bowl. It's a bad look for Aaron Rodgers. And before it gets worse, before his legacy gets tarnished worse, he needs to retire. And I think he wants to retire. I think he's tired of the nagging injuries. I think he's tired of the pressure. I think he want to ride up in the sunset. I think if he would have got that job with Jeopardy, he would have took it. He's done. And he's showing it. It have nothing to do with lack of talent. He can still throw the football. He still got high football IQ. He don't want to be there, and it shows. If your heart is not in it, it's showing. It's showing up on the field. This man needs to get out of here, because not only he's doing a disservice to himself, he's doing a disservice to his teammates, the coaches, the owners, the GMs, the fans, the state of Wisconsin. He's doing a disservice to all. He's doing a disservice to us as fans. NFL, get out of here. You don't want to play, bro, and that's clear. So to me, it should be his last game. Now the question is, would it be? No, because he likes the money. He wants the money. He's going to take the money, just like you just said, Zay. He signed a big contract, knowing what this team was going to be about. Have nothing to do with winning, had all to do with money. He's going to come back because he's going to get this money. His heart won't be in it. He'll get some nagging injuries. He might miss games, whatever it is. And I don't think Green Bay is going to trade him. Okay, I don't think he's going to leave. I think he's going to come right back to Green Bay. There's going to be a whole episode, just like Brett Favre, before Brett Favre retired, a whole episode on the off season. And he's going to come back for all the wrong reasons. That man right now needs to retire.
I think for me, and salute to our 99 pod contributor, my guy, Coach Mello. Salute to my guy, K, for watching the show and chiming in. Well, guess what? Let me be the coach here, right? Because I'm going to tell you how I see everything playing out. This is not the last game for Aaron Rodgers. It's his last game as a Packer. I do believe that they are both going to come together, both sides, and say it's beneficial to move on. I'm going to trade you to somewhere else, because guess what? You know, Russell Wilson got his contract before he requested a trade. Deshaun Watson got his contract before he requested a trade. I can see the same thing happening here. And if you're the Packers, you should be interested in doing that. You have a guy in Jordan Love who you drafted. You're the ones that went out and drafted that guy. So you going to let him rot on the bench and diminish his trade stock? You either going to have to trade him or Rodgers. And if I was a better man, I'm taking the youth at this point, because Rodgers ain't getting me nowhere. So that's what I'm doing. But I'm going to come back to that in a few minutes. I do want to talk about things from a bigger grand scheme picture here, because the NFL, as I alluded to on the show, the last show we did, when I predicted this game, they played chess with everybody, with the whole league. You know what they did? They moved this game to Sunday Night Football. Lions and Packers. We all know that the game that should have been played last night, that we should have been talking about right now on this show, was Jacksonville and the Titans. That's how things normally operate, with everything on the line, winning in. But they flexed it this way so that the Lions knew, okay, beforehand, that they were out of it or not, which meant that they were trying to push Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. Okay, that's exactly what they tried to do. They tried to scheme the Lions, but what they failed to realize was, by them doing that, and the Lions already knew they was out, they made them more dangerous, because they wanted to spoil Aaron Rodgers, little last dance or whatever it was, right? So they made them more dangerous. 2nd and 17, they did a hook and lateral with St. Brown to Swift to set up a 3rd and 3 that they converted on. They're not doing that if everything is on the line. Okay, if this game was 4 o'clock, along with the Seahawks and the Rams game, okay, if that game was on the same time, listen, I firmly believe if everything played out the way how it was supposed to play out, okay, that Jacksonville, the Titans, would have been on Sunday Night Football. This game, along with the Seattle Seahawks and Rams, would have been on at the same time. The Packers would have won. They would have won this game. So by the NFL trying to be smart, or think they trying to be smart, by playing chess to get Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, they made a mistake. They made the Lions more dangerous, and that's the reason why the Packers are not in there right now. But I think for me, when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, and back to this Aaron Rodgers talk, the lowest passing percentage of his career, okay, he normally is known for not turning the ball over. I believe he has no more than 4 interceptions in the last 4 seasons. This year, he has 12. He is declining. Okay, I know I came on the show, and I kind of, didn't throw him under the bus. I defended him. But he is declining. He had a terrible pick in this game where I'm just like, what are you doing? He had 2 that was dropped and called back because of a penalty. I think that he's going to play, but it will not be in Green Bay. And that's all I have to say.
I think one thing for sure, two things for certain. Aaron Rodgers is going to get his money. That's one thing he's been prioritizing for sure. This man is guaranteeing he's going to get his money no matter what. His last days in the building, for sure, man. I just think him and Lambeau need to separate. It's just evident. Green Bay, after a while, they cherish their quarterbacks, and then they want to get rid of you after you've done all you can. After you've shown that you can no longer be that guy that they saw you as, they're done with you. It's not like basketball. It's not like it's Dirk Nowitzki who gave everything for the organization. They give you a statue. They gonna leave you behind to hang and dry out there in Green Bay, for sure, especially when they get tired of you. And I think a lot of people are tired of Aaron Rodgers. I have personally know Green Bay fans who don't like Aaron Rodgers. They're done with him. They're like, we don't know what this guy's doing, but like we should have been restarted. We don't know why we get rid of this guy, that guy. But to say that Rodgers, but he plays somewhere else, I'm not too sure. The grass is not always greener somewhere else, and I don't know if there's a place for Rodgers right now with the contract as high as it is. He's getting guaranteed money. The bag is coming with him, and it's not going to be paid off by Green Bay. I doubt Green Bay takes the dead cap space. I don't know if there's a situation where they would accept that. Like, yeah, we'll pay most of his contract if we get X, Y, and Z. I don't see a situation like that for Green Bay, currently. Yeah, maybe not. I don't see it right now. And there's a handful of teams that Rodgers would probably be willing to go to. I think one of them being the Jets, another one being San Francisco. There's a handful of teams, and I think he only goes to a place where their defense is top notch. I don't see him going to a situation where it's they have a okay receiving core and their defense is was ranked 29th, and I'm gonna go over there and take over. Like, I don't see him doing that. I think he'll have to be in a place where all they need is a quarterback, and then all I gotta do is play ball. Like, I just don't see him in a situation where he's gonna try to be this superhero, put the S on his chest and just take over in a sense. I think Rodgers is at the point in his career where he wants to be carried. He wants to be just another cog in the system, helping win, not the guy.
Yeah, I mean, he took the money though. So if that was the case, then he would have left Green Bay. If he really wanted to win, he would have been on Denver right now. He would have been on Denver. You take that defense, that number one ranked defense in the whole entire league, he would have been winning right now if winning was his number one priority. It clearly wasn't. It was the money. Now he's going to come back and put the blame on Green Bay and say, y'all was the reason that, we didn't make it. Okay, he's even in the press conference, he was literally saying that it depends on, the Packers and what they do. No, they listen. You had your chances to win the Super Bowl. You failed. You're not that guy. Yes, you have a skill set that makes people say, wow. But at the end of the day, that clutch gene is different. I don't care how much skill you have. Not everybody has the skill of being clutch. Look at Tom Brady. It was a bad year for Tom Brady's standards. His first ever losing season. But he made the playoffs. He won the game that he needed to win to get in against the Panthers last week. He's just not made that stuff. So I don't even want to hear that, it's about winning. It's not about winning. It's not.
No, I agree. It's definitely not about winning. Listen, this is going to play out the same way it played out with Brett Favre. The reason why Brett Favre went to the Jets and eventually went to Minnesota is because Green Bay pushed him out. They had a stud in Aaron Rodgers, a young Aaron Rodgers, and they pushed Brett. They said, listen, we don't want you to come back. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen this offseason. If Love is really made of that stuff, they should push Aaron Rodgers out. Dude, if you come, we don't want you here. Because that's basically what they did to Brett Favre. And when they did that to Brett Favre, it did light some fire under him to the point he wanted to play well. And I think he went to Minnesota. They got to a championship game, and he kind of had like a really decent season. But maybe that would happen for Aaron Rodgers, and maybe he will get some fire under him if they push him out and disrespect him. But that's what to me is going to take, because Aaron Rodgers is stubborn, and Aaron Rodgers is going to stay right there in Green Bay. And if they don't push him out, he's going to come back, get his money, and stay right there. If they push him out, we got Love. I agree, go somewhere else. But I don't see him leaving on his own. I think he actually will just come right back to Green Bay.
And let's hear from Aaron Rodgers before we depart up.
At some point, the carousel comes to a stop, and it's time to get off. And I think you kind of know when that is. And that's what needs to be contemplated. Is it time Also, what's the organization doing? You know, it's part of it as well.
Well, you heard from Aaron Rodgers, and I think it's time that we move on and depart off this topic and move on to the next topic, as we do have a loaded show